Hey everyone, welcome back to the Reclaim Ranch. My name is Tara, and I have a few projects just for my basement this week. So this is a little cute little birdhouse. Got it for $2.99 at a thrift store, and I thought it was cool because the glass jar that they used is actually melted to be squished a little bit. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and then they had like a little wire hanger holding it on there. So I liked the concept of it. I just didn't like what was hanging off of it. So I took that all off and cleaned it up. And there's a big chunk kind of really loose. And so that's a big sliver territory and I don't like that. So I'm going to use my Star Bond glue and accelerator and kind of fill in that crack to make it at least smoother to the touch. And then I'm going to use Fusion's milk paint in the color Hotel Robe. It's a beautiful white. And I knew because of this wood being kind of raw, it was going to bleed a little bit, but I thought that would just kind of add to the character. And I just want to do the main portion of the house. So I'm going to go ahead and give it one good coat first. And then I'm going to use my heat gun and then I'll apply the second coat. And I'll use my heat gun again because what I'm trying to do is with the raw wood, a lot of times milk paint will just kind of seep down into it and it won't chip off like I wanted it to on this. So when I applied the heat, it does do a nice, beautiful crackle finish. So I was happy with that. So I did 2 full coats of the milk paint and then did the heat gun in between. And I got the perfect crackle finish that I was looking for. I think this would be cute like either inside or even on a front porch or a back porch even. Just you can have fresh flowers in it because it is a glass container. You can add water to it or you can do faux flowers for seasonal. Okay, so now I'm just taking my little finger sander and I'm going to just kind of sand down the bumps a little bit to make it a little bit smoother. And then before putting that back together, I will have to seal the milk paint. And I did want to distress the edges a little bit too there, but I'm using the Sweet Pickins Top Coat in Flat Matte, and that will seal that milk paint up really well. And I did want to give you guys a heads up. Sonnet from Sonnet's Garden Blooms did do an interview with me for her podcast channel, and that's going to be airing this Thursday. So if you're interested in kind of knowing a little bit more about me or her, then go ahead and check that out. I'll have it linked on my channel as well. So that's kind of exciting news. And so back to the birdhouse, I just went ahead and put that jar back on with the wire. And I think it needed a little bit of something, so I have these little laser cutouts from the Dollar Tree. There's different birds, and I just picked one of them out and used some of that leftover wire to hang the bird from it. I didn't want to get it too crazy. I do like the simple look of this because the florals are going to be more of a focal point, and so I used an end of a paintbrush just to twist those little wires and make little spirals out of them, but I thought it turned out pretty cute. And so this next one we have is a frame I picked up from the Goodwill bins. It's all torn apart. It's really wiggly. I can see why somebody wanted to toss it, but that's good for me because I know how to fix it. So I'm going to take my brad nailer and just put a couple of nails in each side, and that's going to sturdy that frame up real fast. And I do want to keep the natural color of the frame, but I'm going to go ahead and remove, there was a bunch of little staples holding that sign part in. And so I'm going to take those all out. And I used Fusion's raw silk and put 3 coats on that. And now we're going to go in with IOD's paint inlay called Paradise. It's these beautiful florals and birds. And if you've never used a paint inlay or don't know what it is, it's an actual painting on paper. And what you do is you paint your project that you're going to put on first, get the base coat down, and then what I do is I take my mister and I place the painted side face down, spray the back with water. What that does is it opens the fiber in the paint inlay so that it's not opening when you put it on your board and causing wrinkles. So then I'm going to go on my board and I'm going to add 1 coat, not too thick, but a nice even coat of my paint onto the board. And then I'm going to take my paint inlay and lay it down. You gotta kind of be careful. I did have a little bit of time to raise it up a couple times to get those bubbles out. But, and then what I do is I put my hand down, kind of rub it, and then I use my brayer to really get that paint inlay embedded into the paint that I put down. Then I spray it again with water, let it sit until it completely dries. Once it's dry, it'll turn that really kind of whitewashed look. So then you take your sprayer and you wet it down again. That's going to help release the inlay. And I got a little too gung-ho when I started to peel back. You'll see I'm like, oh, it's not ready yet. So then I sprayed it again, waited a little bit longer, and then you just slowly peel back. This is like so satisfying for me. It's fun to watch. And you can use these paint inlays like up to 3, sometimes 4 times. So when you're done with it, just lay it flat on its back, let it dry out again. But each time you use it, it's going to be a little bit more distressed, which is kind of cool, I think. But this turned out gorgeous. It transferred really well. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure to dry it, but I'm using my little mister. It's half Big Top and half water, because if you were to go in right with the paintbrush and try and put Big Top on, it would smear. So I do that, and then I dry it with my heat gun, and then I go again in with the full coat of the Big Top. But I still am very gentle with my paintbrush. I load it up really good, and then I just barely touch the painting and try not to go over it too many times. And then I let that dry, and then it's sealed really well. So all I had to do left was go in and use my hot glue gun, place that down inside, and get rid of the extra little globs that came out the front. I have an X-Acto knife that I kind of use to pick up those parts out of there. And I like to finish my projects, so on the back side I'm just going to go in with my Fusion in the color Ash and paint it all black, and that way it looks a little more high-end, a little more finished, since I will be selling this. And if you guys are interested, I can go ahead and put this on my website. Just let me know, or any of these projects. Let me know and I'll put it on my website if you're interested in buying it. Otherwise, I will put it in my booth. Okay, and the last project for today is this little organizing box. I got it from a friend, painted the front, and then put it down because I was like, I really don't know what I want to do with it yet. But then I saw my wallpaper, my vintage wallpaper from Redesign by Prima, Decoupage, and I was like, oh, that would look so pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and go in and just decoupage this beautiful paper all the way around it. And then I ended up keeping that raw wood color on the inside. I just painted my Fusion raw silk just on the top and like the tops of the dividers, just to give it some appeal when you're looking at it from the top. But I thought it was just really pretty being kind of simple and plain, and that raw wood color actually matched really well with these flowers, so I think it worked out really well. So I'm going to go ahead and use my decoupage from Fusion, decoupage gel. It's my absolute favorite. I do sell it on my website as well. And so you take a starter strip and then you keep working your way to the other side. And then I always use my heat gun in between and then do another nice layer on top, dry it with the heat gun, and then I use my little finger sander to remove any of the excess. So hope you guys liked this video. Let me know what your favorite was for this Tuesday's video, and I will see you on Friday with a new one. You guys have a great week. We'll see you then. Bye.